We think of temporal arts being like dance and film and music, but artist books are art in the book form, which makes visual art more temporal. These combine construction, design, image, text if there is text, there isn't always, to make a complete artistic expression in the form of a book. You see the rise of more complex form of visual art as text kind of in the 60s. Of course, the 60s were a big era of experimentation, right? What happens if we do this? In Atlanta, you find the Nexus Press that starts to rise in the 70s. And their mission really was to let artists who worked in other mediums create books. And so artists, some of whom you now know as very famous painters or sculptors or other kinds of art, came to Atlanta and they had the opportunity to work in this medium. And we're lucky at Emory to have this collection at Rose Library. We have the entire archive of the Nexus Press. And you can kind of see that period of creativity related to artist books. I think the appeal has always been that you can make artwork that you experience temporarily, that you have to slow down with this book. There's video feeds all around us, whether it's TV or social media or, our phones, which we are constantly on. And the world goes by really fast. If you watch the morning news and the evening news, it's completely different news because there's so much going on. But when you encounter an artist book, that all kind of moves to the side because you can't social media your way through an artist book or through a new concept or through something you've never seen before or encountered. Even when you open this book, you don't quite know what to expect, right? It's beautiful, it's got these gold edges, so pretty. These are sort of barren, but also really beautiful images of the Sonoran Desert. And then suddenly we have text. This particular book is about the not legal border crossing between Mexico and Arizona. And this reads like a Beatitudes. Blessed are the bathroom attendants. Already we're questioning, okay, what's going on? It sparks the curiosity. Where are we going with this? And I think that's true of really any artist book that you encounter. What you see initially may not be exactly how the story develops. That slowing down, that taking a minute, allows you to stop for a second and think, maybe I can take this minute and just engage with this. It'll just be a minute, right? And then you turn the page and you get sucked in. And then you're a few pages in and you think, well, what's this really about? This is really about people crossing the border from Mexico and what we think about them and how we picture those people. And then you have to start questioning, well, how do I picture those people? Where do I stand on this? And how does this book make me think about it differently? And now you're starting to think, well, wait a minute, these people are just people. Like I'm a person. What do people crossing the border see? What do their skies look like? What kind of day is it when they cross the border? Is it rainy? Are they cold? Are they wet? Are their kids wet? And what do I think about my kids like having to be out in the rain because there's no shelter? And suddenly you're having a new experience, not because you read a book about illegal immigration from Mexico to the US, but because you started to identify with people. I think things like this change people's minds far more often than reading the latest news story, because this is about what you think. One of the really great things about artist books is just the ability to experience the world differently, which is something that we get from reading books anyway, right? New thoughts, escapism sometimes. And this is an extra layer of wonder and discovery about how you can present information and what information is. Is information just text or a website or someone's social media feed? Or can we take information from the shape that something comes in? What does it do for us to open a beehive and read about bees? To put yourself in the mind of a beekeeper or a bee or that kind of hive life And what does that say about how we live? I particularly like this one because sometimes I think we live the hive life. And that's both beautiful and a little scary. We have a lot of artist books in our collection, and every time I encounter one, because I'm teaching with it or I'm cataloging it or doing other work with it, even ones that I've seen before, I always come to it with a sense of wonder. What didn't I see last time that I'm gonna see this time? It's a little bit like that novel that you read maybe when you were 20 and you keep coming back to because you always read something new. It's that way with artist books. They get you on the first go, they get you every time you encounter it again. I often do kind of artist book speed dating. You have 5 minutes with this book, and I often find that students don't want to move after those 5 minutes, even for very simple constructions or simple books, because they're still trying to figure something out about it. I also find students tend to want to go back to things. They haven't gotten the full story quite yet. That sense of wonder, we never get tired of that. Nobody ever gets tired of that, especially if you can surprise people. And I think artist books surprise people. And that's what I always hope, that they shock us a little bit out of our day-to-day lives and make us engage in a different way with time and image and text so that we discover new things.